Hey guys, it's Melissa here from melissaoatman.com. Welcome to Awaken Your Inner Awesomeness, a daily podcast devoted to spirituality and self-help. If you're new, I want to welcome you. If you're returning, welcome back. So today I wanted to talk to you about speaking your truth. I know that I've done podcasts about this before, but as I was doing my meditation and preparing for whatever topic the universe wanted me to speak about, this came through loud and clear. And I've had several examples in my life where speaking my truth was a test that I needed to pass. So I thought that I would share this with you. As many of you know, I am writing a book, or I should say I have written a book. And it is currently in the process of being published. So one of the things, and it's pretty exciting, that I get to do is to work with them on designing a cover. I don't actually get to do the designing part, but I get to do the approval of the designing part. And it's super exciting because, first of all, it really makes it real that, hey, you did all of this work and now this is happening for you, and it's exciting. It's also exciting because I really never thought in my life that I would write a book. I just didn't really expect to do that. But this week, the publisher sent back the design, and we've gone back and forth a few times. You know, the first one the publisher sent, she said, I don't really care for this. What are your thoughts? And we agreed. We were very much in sync with the opinion of the cover. So she sent it back, and it came back again. And again, we both agreed that, this really wasn't the vision that I had in mind. And she agreed with me. So we sent it back. And this time it came back. This time when the book came back, she wrote to me that she loved it. She absolutely loved it. And what did I think? And I had a little pit in my stomach because I did not love it. In fact, I really didn't like it any more than I liked the previous covers that we had. And so I have always been this person that has come to you, like if I have a situation going on, if I have a problem, I will try to come up with solutions before I come to you with the problem, because I don't want to be just part of the problem. I want to be an innovator who thinks outside the box and comes to you with solutions. So I thought that the solution would be just to design what I was thinking and show her and, say, okay, what do you think? And so I went to work designing the cover and sent it back, and the publisher said, no, we don't want to totally have to scrap everything and redesign because we were already paying this person and we have overhead. And I understood what she was saying. I did. But I still didn't like this cover, so what do you do? And so I consulted with a friend and I said, what should I do? Here's the deal, and I showed my friend the cover, and my friend said, yeah, I don't like it either, and this looks weird, and, I think you just need to be honest. And in the past, I would definitely have an issue speaking my truth. I would skate around it as much as I could because I don't want to hurt people's feelings, or I just don't want to make waves or whatever. And my friend said, you have to be happy with the final product. This is going to have your name on it. And you don't want to have something that you think is stupid looking. And honestly, it was like the cover was kind of cartoonish and didn't look like a serious book. So I couldn't live with that. So I decided, I need to be honest. I need to speak my truth. So I took a moment and I just asked my spiritual team, I said, hey, I need to be honest. I need to talk to this person about this. And I need this person to be open and receptive. And I need this person to hear the words that I need to say in the way that they're meant, and not take it in a way of it's like a power struggle, or that I'm trying to insult this person or that they're not intelligent or their ideas are not good, because that's not where I'm coming from with this. That's not at all my intention. My intention is to get the cover that I want. And in everything, nothing's perfect. You can't have always exactly what you want, but you can get close. So I thought, okay, just give me the words I need to say. And I went back through and wrote my email and looked at the draft and reread it and tried to insert words here and there that made it softer, but still firm of, this is my project and I've worked hard on this, and I don't want to be putting out a book that looks stupid, because if the cover is bad, people aren't going to want to buy it because they won't take it seriously. Like, here's this book and it looks like it's fiction, not nonfiction. So I sent it and I was like, okay, well, it's sent, and hopefully that it's taken the right way. And when I got a message back, it was, I'm so glad we can cooperate and work together on this, and how about this instead? So it worked out great, and it's still going to be a work in progress. I don't have the finished, copy of what it's going to look like, but it's a back and forth, and we don't butt heads, and that's great. Because sometimes people do take what you say the wrong way. People can do that very easily, actually. And it's usually when ego gets involved. They hear things the way that you don't mean them. And it's especially difficult if you're communicating via email or text, because it's hard to read someone's tone in an email or a text. So it's important, and I always tell my students this too. It's so important when you send an email or you send a text to really make sure that you read it. And if your tone is not clear, make sure that you add words in there that help to convey, like please or thank you, or, words that would indicate that you're not mad, you're not upset, you're not being smart. Because I can't tell you how many times I've had students who will send an email, did you grade this? And that's all it says. So I have to teach them, no, that's not the proper email etiquette. You need to, first of all, start off with dear so-and-so and put a please in there. I'm not the type of person that gets offended by that, because I know they're kids, but I'm trying to teach them too, because they're going to be going to college, and a college professor may not necessarily enjoy the fact that they've sent that brief little email. And as I said, you can't take someone's tone. So it may seem like they're being really smart, and they're not. They're just kids. And that's, they do that without even thinking sometimes. So it's important that when you have to speak your truth, and when you're being called to speak your truth, it's important to stand firm in what you believe. That is definitely important. But it's also important for you to be open to hearing someone else's point of view. And again, as you're communicating, it's important that your communication is not overly emotional, that you're able to maintain balance and rationale, just like I talked about on yesterday's podcast, not getting overwhelmed and overly emotional. Because when you get to that place, there actually is a study that has been done that when you get emotional like that, the blood and all of the neurons and everything for the rational part of your brain, it's your brain waves, it's like they're redirected to a different part of your brain. And I'm sorry, I do not know the exact scientific term for it, but your brain functioning is occurring out of a different part of your brain. And what that does is it takes away your ability to be able to reason and to be rational, because all of your brain activity is occurring in a part of the brain that does not deal with being rational, doesn't deal with that. And it really makes sense if you think about it. When you get to that stage, it's hard to really think clearly and to be balanced and to come up with a solution that is good for all, because you can't physically do it. The way that our bodies are made up and the way that our brain functions, you cannot be in that state of being overly emotional and still be able to use the part of your brain that uses reason and logic. Which is why when you overreact, you say things that you don't mean. And you what am I trying to say? Like, I can't even speak right now. But you not just say things that you don't mean, but you also do things that you would not normally do if you were really thinking rationally and logically. But when you're in that emotional state, you cannot. It's not physically possible for you to be doing both, which is why it's so important for you to maintain balance, because you will do and say things that you don't mean to do and say when you're in that overly, highly emotional state. And when you want to speak your truth, you want people to take you seriously. So if you're flying off the handle, that's not going to happen. They're just going to think, well, this person's crazy. Look at how they're acting. And I've had dealings with this. I had to deal with a colleague at my old job who was just all over the place, like definitely not mentally stable. And I had to have meetings with this person sometimes just to tell this person how to have meetings, because she would get upset and overreact and yell. And it was uncomfortable for everyone because we never knew what personality we were going to get from one day to the next. And that's not comfortable for anyone, and that's not a good environment to be in. It's a very toxic work environment. And it wasn't fair to the rest of the people. And when I tried to have a reasonable and rational conversation with her, it wasn't possible. It just wasn't possible. And I know now that it's because she was already in that overly emotional, like the moment that you said to her, I need to have a meeting with you, she was already gone to that place of being overly emotional and irrational. And so you couldn't even get your point across because she did not understand it. At that point, there was no speaking to her reasonably because she was already, had gone off the deep end. And that's why it's important for you, if you have to speak with someone, it's important for you to keep your calm and keep your peace. And I used to have to try to do this when dealing with this person. And I'm not going to say I was perfect all the time. I was not. But if she flies off the handle and then I fly off the handle because I'm reacting to her, we both look crazy, we're both screaming, and nothing gets accomplished. And I had to learn that. I had to learn, don't react. Don't react to her actions and behavior. Stand firm in your truth. Speak your truth. Whether she chooses to hear it or not, that's not your problem. But you've spoken your truth, you've set a boundary, and you've said, okay, we're not going to have this behavior. And things go so much better and are much smoother when you're able to do that. And the message that I get loud and clear, and I don't know what area of your life it's in. This is going on for me in several areas of my life, and I know it's a lesson, and that's fine. And if you're at a place where you know you're being asked to speak your truth, and you just don't know how, or you don't know what to say, call on your team and ask for the words. I'm not kidding you, this really works. Take a moment and sit in quiet stillness and just ask your team for the words you need to say. Give me the words is what I say. Give me the words that I need to say that will allow this person to understand my perspective in a way that is fair, non-threatening, and that is understood, so that my words are not misconstrued. And then whenever I start typing, it's like the words just start flowing. And I know I'm being given this guidance of this is what you should say. Because really it's important. You never know how people are going to react to different things. And you can be nice all you want. But if somebody's had a bad day and then you come to them and it's like you pile on by just standing up for yourself, that could set them off. And you just don't know. So it's good to choose words that are going to be received well. It's important, actually, that you use the words that will be received very well. And again, I like to call on my team for guidance with this because I don't always know what the person that I have to deal with is going through. The universe does. And so I'm given words that I know are going to be benign. They're not going to be triggers for this person. Because you don't have to make somebody upset to simply speak your truth. Now, it might upset some people if you start speaking your truth. That is a possibility because some people don't like it when you have boundaries. When you set boundaries, the people who will walk all over you, they're the ones who are not going to like it. And I saw a saying on Facebook today. I don't remember who posted it or where I saw it, but I loved it because it said, some people will walk all over you with the shoes that you bought for them. And it's true. Some people will take total advantage of you if you let them. And honestly, people who do that because you haven't said, no, you can't. And I think about little toddlers. When kids are starting to grow and develop, one of the things that they do is they push their limits because they don't know what they can do or what they can't do until they've hit a limit with you. So you'll notice parents seem so frazzled and, oh my gosh, my kids are running everywhere. They're into everything. Well, yeah, that's because they don't know what boundaries are yet. You haven't taught them that. And as toddlers, we're in the process of teaching them constantly through experience, right? You can't sit a toddler down and say, here's a list of things you can't do. It doesn't work that way. So we just have to let them learn by trial and error. They get into something, we punish them, we scold them, they know not to do it again. And for toddlers, sometimes it takes multiple times because, again, they're learning. They don't have that clear set boundary established yet. And it's the same thing with people. When you're dealing with people, if you have never had a boundary with that person before, they're going to continue to walk over it because they don't know that it's there. It's like an invisible fence. You haven't said anything about being upset when they do X, Y, or Z, so they just keep doing it. But if you set that boundary and say, listen, I don't like it when you do this. It makes me feel this way when you do this. Please stop doing that. They may not be happy about it, but hopefully they will stop because they respect you and respect the boundary that you set. But again, most people who get upset about the boundaries are the people who just don't really care and respect other people's boundaries anyway. And it doesn't mean that they won't respect yours. It just means that they'll try to get away with it until you tell them not to. And that's a difficult thing. It's really tough, especially if you're a parent. You know that this is tough. It's tough to set those boundaries with your kids, but it's super important. And it's one of the ways that we make them feel safe. So I don't know what area in your life you may be being asked to speak your truth. It may be something as small and simple as just telling your spouse that they're doing something that bothers you, or a friend, hey, when we make plans and you cancel on me, it bothers me, I need some notice. Or it may be something huge, like having to deal with a boss at work. I don't know what you're going through, and only you know what you're going through, but the universe is asking you to speak your truth. And if you need help doing that, you can always call on the universe and call on your team and say, listen, whatever it is you need, whether it's courage, you can call on Archangel Michael to be with you when you have to do this or have this conversation and to help you to not be afraid to have this conversation. You can call on Archangels Raguel and Gabriel to help you with your conversation, to help you, to give you the words that will be heard by the other party and taken the best way, and also that they will not miscommunicate, not misinterpret what you're saying and take it the wrong way. So we can totally call on our team for that. And I would highly encourage you to do so, because the conversation that I had with my publisher this week could have gone really wrong, and it could have been taken totally the wrong way. It could have been misconstrued, and we could have been butting heads and had a problem. But we're both reasonable people, and I just told her my position, and this is why I feel this way, and it's not to insult you, but it's just I can't live with this the way it is. And she understood and was glad that I was honest and open with communication. So it works if you speak your truth. If you do it from a reasonable and rational standpoint, and you ask your team to help you, and you will feel so much better, because when you walk around knowing that things aren't the way you want them to be, that's a terrible feeling. Everyone should be able to feel like they're happy and that they've had all of their needs met. And if you're not telling people what your needs are and you're just pushing it down, then you're going to be walking around feeling miserable, feeling like something's missing, like something's wrong, because, if people are taking advantage of you and that's why you're not speaking up, you are going to feel angry and resentful. And those bitter feelings, first of all, are very low vibrational. And secondly, they can cause you to become physically sick. So it's important for you to get your truth out there and to set that boundary. It really is. Well, I wanted to pull a card for you today. And I pulled a card from the Goddess Guidance Oracle deck by Doreen Virtue. And I love the deck. I think it is such a beautiful deck. And if you're looking for a new deck, I really like that one. And I've mentioned this before because someone wrote me one time and asked me, Doreen Virtue has come out now against all of the cards and things she created and said that it's evil and blah, 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 blah. Well, I don't believe that. And so some people have said, well, I wouldn't continue to buy her things because of that. I personally believe that they were created because she was divinely inspired to create them. And I think that the divine inspired her so that she could help others. And I think that if it's helping you, and that if it is something that you're using for positive to get messages to help you better your life, then I absolutely, by all means, say continue to use them. I don't know what the issue is with her, with finances or whatever, and I don't really care. She can do whatever she wants. I personally like the deck, and I will continue to use her decks. So that's my stance on that, and you can agree or disagree, and that's fine. I always say if it resonates and you like it and it sounds like the truth, keep it. If not, just let it go. We all have to do what's best for us. We cannot live our lives by other people's standards. So you do what you need to do for you. The card, though, that I pulled is Pele, which is the goddess of fire. The message is divine passion. It's be honest with yourself. What is your heart's true desire? If you listen to the sound of your heart and breath, you'll recognize the ancient rhythms of your own internal drumming. This forever connects you to the mother of all creation and to the sound of planet Earth. These rhythms can't be faked or forged. They're natural and eternal. What part of you are you trying to ignore? What part of you has been overly concerned with pleasing others to the detriment of hearing the sounds of your own rhythm? Dear child, reach out and extend your arms to embrace your dreams. They're just as much a part of nature as are the trees, animals, and sunsets. Don't your own dreams deserve the same respect that you accord everyone and everything that you love? Listen to them, my child. Listen to your dreams. They'll activate that powerful eruption of passion in your life. Don't be afraid of your own passion, for it will propel you naturally and will excite and invigorate you. When you dance to the rhythms of your life, you truly are alive in all ways. All right, I love that. I think that's a beautiful message, and it really does go along with what we're talking about. Sometimes you have to speak your truth in order to live the life that you dream of living, in order to be passionate about your life once again. So don't let anyone or anything hold you back. Live your life to the fullest and live your truth. Speak your truth. It's only then that you're going to find peace and happiness. Well, guys, I want to thank you so much for being with me. If you like this podcast, please share it with others. I've had several people sharing it on social media. Thank you again for doing that. That means so much. If you could leave me a review from wherever you're listening, that would be amazing. It is a beautiful exchange of energy since I don't receive any money at all for making this podcast. I just do it to help others. So leaving a review would be a free and easy way for you to help me spread my message of love and healing to everyone. And don't forget to join me on my Facebook Lives. They're usually Mondays at 5:30 Central Time, where I pull messages for you. And if you follow me on Facebook or Instagram, you will know the day that I'm going to go live, and you will see the cards that I'm going to be picking for you. And I also pick people who join me on the live for free readings. If you go to my website and you subscribe, you will also receive a free morning and evening meditation as a gift from me. If you need to work with me, you want to work with me, you can book online on my website, or you can simply contact me. Either way is fine, absolutely fine. And if you're not sure what you want, you want to work with me, you're not really sure what you need, just contact me. You can email me, you can text me, you can message me on Facebook or Instagram. So many ways to get a hold of me, and any way is absolutely fine. I get all of my messages. I want to thank you so much for being with me. I hope you have a beautiful day. I am sending you massive love and light, and I will talk to you tomorrow.